What's he doing?
Why would
up
he
there?
do that?
He's a jackass.
Thanks, Obama. Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got, there's no sugarcoating. The biggest shakeup in sneakers in, probably ever. If it's not the biggest, it's definitely the most emotionally charged one. In short, Kanye West around and found out. He worked himself into a shoot. He played himself. The habitual line stepper finally found the line that he couldn't cross. And look, we've said our piece about Kanye. There's no reason for us to keep bringing up how we feel about this entire situation. We take zero joy in watching the man's fall from grace. This sucks, man. At the same time, it's not our problem. It's now up to Kanye's inner circle to help him, and even if they can't get him through, I wouldn't blame them for wanting to walk away and washing themselves of it all for their own well-being. But because it's about Yeezy sneakers, we're talking about it. So let's do this. After a month of anti-Black, anti-Semitic rhetoric at his Paris fashion show, on social media, on liberal and conservative talk shows, and with Nori, virtually every company and brand that had ties with Kanye has dissolved their partnership. They range from JP Morgan Chase, CAA, Gap, Balenciaga, and inarguably the biggest piece of the Kanye pie in Adidas. According to Variety, the film studio, MRC, home to movies like Knives Out and television shows like Ozark, have also shelved an already completed documentary about Kanye. People he once called family and friends appeared to have reached their limit. His ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, and her family have denounced his words, although they never actually call him out by name. Allies he once had, from John Legend to Sean Puffy Combs, have distanced themselves from him. The Celtics' Jaylen Brown, who along with Los Angeles Rams superstar Aaron Donald, announced their departures from Donda Sports, Kanye's sports marketing agency. Donda Academy, his $15,000 a year school in Simi Valley, has closed its doors until next year, displacing their students, some of whom are top-ranked basketball prospects. But then they reopened, so we're not actually sure where that's going. Thankfully, though, the sports division still has its president, Antonio Brown, in the fold. Co-writer, where's the part where we play that Obama clip again?
He's a jackass.
Yeah, there it is. Meanwhile, Kanye is busy getting all the paperwork and monies together to buy Parler, the conservative social media network run by George Farmer, aka Candace Owens' husband. According to data analytics firm Aptopia via Politico, Parler boasts 40,000 daily active users, or, and let me see if my math is mathing right, 0.016878% of Twitter's 237 million daily users. I wonder how George and Candace feel about Kanye's net worth being gutted by 75%. That's right, 75% of Kanye's nearly $2 billion fortune was tied to his Adidas deal. Forbes has recalculated his fortunes, and he has dropped all the way out of the billionaires club and into the 400 million club. The source of that 400 million? Real estate deals, his record catalog, cash, and his 5% stake in his ex-wife's shapewear brand. So, now that we've got all of that preamble out of the way, let's dive into the business of Yeezy sneakers, because that's always fair game here on Hard Pass. Adidas felt the heat, thought they could sell Yeezys through it, and found out they couldn't. That's probably the most sanitized explanation one could give as to why it took this long for the three stripes to drop Kanye. I mean, when he was being a creeper to his now ex-wife and her boyfriend, Adidas was fine with that. When he said slavery was a choice at TMZ, Adidas let that slide. Turns out, he may have already been dabbling in Nazi worship at the time, according to Van Lathan Jr., but TMZ decided to not post that stuff. That's a choice, TMZ. And there are now quotes to CNN from anonymous sources close to Kanye saying that the Hitler and Nazi admiration was quite strong and that Kanye originally wanted to name his 2018 album Ye Hitler. To think this all could have gone down before the pandemic and the 2020 election if TMZ and those in Kanye's inner circle weren't busy protecting their own bag. And then there was Paris Fashion Week and those t-shirts with that deplorable slogan. When Adidas said that they were putting their relationship with Kanye under review after the blowback from that and his constant prodding, trolling, and threatening of Adidas executives on social media, they probably already had their minds made up about cutting him. They just had to go through all the legal hoops to make sure their reasons for ending the partnership were airtight. It's no excuse for waiting as long as they did, but again, it's about protecting the bag. They probably thought they could sell more colorways that Kanye probably didn't approve of on the way out, like the Yeezy 350 V2 Salt and the Yeezy 450 Stone Flax. They thought wrong. Well, they actually thought right because those shoes did sell out, but they thought wrong that no one would notice. Because after Kanye started spewing anti-Semitic language for all the world to see and hear, people started to discover, or conveniently rediscover in some cases, that the brand was started up by brothers Adolf and Rudolf Dassler in 1920 before joining the Nazi Party in the 1930s. Couple that with a small group of Nazis parading around, Kanye was right about the Jews signs on the 405, and the situation finally proved to be untenable. Glad we know what your line is, Adidas. It needs to be both anti-black and anti-Jewish for you to cut the cord. Can't be one or the other. It has to be both. This is your regular reminder, guys, that corporations are not people. And while it's cute when they do nice charitable things, they will always be more concerned about their bag. Capitalism, everybody. So what happens to Yeezys now? Well, in Adidas' statement, once you scroll past the boilerplate, we don't tolerate anti-Semitism or any kind of hate speech language, and the money they are projecting to lose this quarter, there's an interesting little nugget. It says, Adidas is the sole owner of all design rights to existing products, as well as previous and new colorways under partnership. According to a CNN business article, this means that Adidas owns the designs of the 350s, 500s, 750s, and so on, with the exception of the Yeezy slides and the name Yeezy, which both belong to Kanye. It's not outside the realm of possibility that months or more likely years from now, after that CNN piece came out, we get the Adidas 350 or the Adidas 500 or the Adidas 750, and so on. They won't come in cheap-ass brown boxes that even Amazon wouldn't use, but rather blue Adidas Originals boxes. With the exception of the 350s, these shoes never had outward Yeezy branding that people see. What that means is that sometime in the future, a casual sneakerhead who isn't paying attention to the drama, aka a majority of the country, could see a pair of Wave Runners just sitting on a store shelf, vaguely remember a controversy with Kanye, think nothing of it, and buy a pair because it looks nice to them. Back in 2002, the late Kobe Bryant famously bought out his Adidas contract and became a sneaker-free agent before signing with Nike the following year. By 2011, Derrick Rose was wearing a red and black Adidas Crazy 8, a rebranded Adidas KB8. Adidas would go on to retro almost every sneaker Kobe wore during his time with the three stripes under the Crazy moniker. Nike has brought back signature shoes from Kevin Garnett, Deion Sanders, and many more without their logos. In the early 2010s, Fila called Grant Hill signature shoes by the year they came out before they eventually re-signed Hill in 2018. If you think Yeezys are unique, well, you're kind of kidding yourself. Adidas will bring the Yeezys back without Kanye. It's just a matter of outlasting the outrage. But before that happens, the three stripes and their partners will definitely feel the pain for a while. Foot Locker is the first major retailer to say they are pulling their Yeezy stock, including those they have that haven't released yet. Sneaker boutiques and some reseller platforms are also following suit, even though some are claiming to Complex that Yeezys account for as much as 80% of their Adidas sales. In Adidas' statement, they stand to lose $246 million in profits this year. Yearly, Yeezys accounted for $1 to $2 billion in sales. For context, Adidas brought in $21 billion in revenue in 2021. Between the sunk costs of pulling already finished products, people boycotting the brand, and stands being unable to buy Yeezys, that's going to hurt their bottom line. But for those who are hoping that Kanye brand was so powerful and encompassing that his departure would take down the Adidas machine, well, I wouldn't really bet on that. So, let's move on to the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. It's this one part of the show today that isn't Kanye related. You're welcome. First up, we have the Aim Leon Dior New Balance 550 on the 31st for $130. The Adidas Trae Young 2, 3 colorways are dropping on the 1st for $140 each. The New Balance 550 Rain Cloud / Gray Salt, that's on the 1st for $120. The New Balance 550 Natural Indigo and Sea Salt, that's going to be on the 1st for $120. The Women's Air Jordan 1 Mid Split Panda, yes, it's dropping again on the 3rd for $135. The Air Jordan 37 Oreo Panda is going to be on the 3rd for $185. The Nike Dunk High LXX in Cinnabar, that's going to be on the 4th for $150. The Nike Dunk Low Panda, yes, a restock, is on the 4th for $110. And then the Nike Dunk High Panda, guess what? A restock on the 4th for $125 as well. And then our Yeezy of the week is the Yeezy Skechers Modern Jogger Beluga. This was from 2017. It was $90. $90? What the? Anyway, Our pick of the week is the Panini Reebok Question Collection. These are on the 4th for $170 each. And a collab that I honestly can't believe took this long. Trading card company Panini is taking their love of cards with the same image, but with different colored borders of varying degrees of rarity to sneakers. Not every pair will be easy to find, and each package will include trading cards that feature the same tech and gimmicks that we've come to know, love, and chase in various Panini products. And now for a heat check on Yeezys at resale. It's early, but news travels fast, as evidenced by how high prices of Kobe sneakers shot up after his passing. The circumstances are different, obviously, because while anybody who keeps an eye out in the collectibles market knows that tragic events equate to rampant and gross attempts at cashing in, I wouldn't call what happened to Kanye tragic. Stupid, yes, but not tragic. And anybody who thinks they know what's going to happen to the price of Yeezys in the immediate or far-flung future doesn't know jack shit. Let's look at the headlines, shall we? The Los Angeles Times posted a story early on Wednesday morning titled "Yeezy Shoe Collectors Are Panic Selling Following Kanye West's Anti-Semitic Rants." The Times spoke to resellers both online and on Melrose about how so many people are panic selling out of fear that Yeezys will be so toxic that no one will want to be seen wearing them. By Wednesday afternoon, the Wall Street Journal had their own piece called "Yeezy Prices Rise on Bet Collectors Overlook Ye's Downfall." The Journal spoke to their own set of resellers, and they are hopeful that in the long term, they will profit big time from this rush to unload their pairs. If you go to StockX or eBay or any other reseller platform that makes their sales data somewhat public, you'll see numbers that back up really any prediction you might have. Do you believe Yeezy prices are crashing down? There's sales to prove that. Do you think that Yeezys are about to spike even higher and now's the time to buy? They got those numbers too. Again, all this proves is that anybody and nobody knows jack shit. So what's our prediction? Well, a few weeks ago, Kanye already drew the line in the sand. There are Yeezys that he approved and ones that he didn't. He's probably not going to post a list of what Yeezys he okayed and didn't. All you can do now is go on Google image search and look at what was on his feet. Those are the only Yeezys that we know for sure were approved by him. That iconic but now infamous photo of Kanye being surrounded by waves of Yeezys, you can assume those are Kanye approved as well. Everything else is really up for debate. Those approved shoes are the ones that will probably command a premium for years to come. Hard to say how much a premium because Kanye constantly keeps everyone on their toes with his antics, but if there were pairs to hold on to, it would be those early in the Adidas run. And it's entirely possible that the prices for Kanye approved Yeezys could go even higher once Adidas brings back the Yeezy line, but without the Yeezy branding. But I guess the thing I keep coming back to is the news that people are lining up in droves to sell their Yeezys. Why? I thought these kids were Kanye stans. I thought they would support their hero through everything, even the anti-black and anti-Semitic language, and claim it's a combination of mental health issues and he's actually a genius and we're just not seeing the bigger picture. Nah, instead, they're selling out of fear that the prices will drop. Like, why do they even care about the resale prices? When Kobe passed, people were buying up all of the available stock and reselling them out of greed, and fans were buying them out of love and nostalgia. There doesn't seem to be any love or nostalgia happening on either side of the Yeezy resale equation. It's all greed, and that's telling, I guess. Anyway, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like wearing Yeezys in public. Actually, that's not what we're going to do today. We're not going to dictate whether or not you can wear Yeezys again, because we're going to leave that responsibility to you, the Hard Pass viewer. See, everybody has their own moral compass when it comes to relics of pop culture. While you might never hear an R. Kelly song played in public ever again, you have the right to listen to it on your own time. I mean, you also have the right to listen to it in public, freedom of expression and whatnot, but that doesn't mean that people around you don't also have the right to either tune you out, walk away, or say something to you about the atrocities that R. Kelly has committed to black girls. It's the risk you take. And sure, you can watch Chris Benoit matches on the WWE section on Peacock all day long. If you search hard enough on the internet, you'll probably find like-minded people who will agree with your take that Benoit is one of the greatest technical wrestlers, if not the greatest of all time. But once you get out there in polite society or on social media and start petitioning for him to get into the WWE Hall of Fame, don't be surprised if people come for you. Because any good Benoit did in a wrestling ring was negated the day he murdered his wife Nancy and child Daniel. R. Kelly, Benoit, O.J. Simpson, Michael Jackson, Woody Allen, Louis C.K., even Kobe Bryant, all have either committed or alleged to have committed terrible acts. If they were not celebrities, most of them would have been locked up a long time ago. And they all have relics of pop culture that, if shown in public, might trigger a group of people to call you out for supporting him. And like it or not, Kanye is in that same group now. And yes, we know the differences between Kanye and everybody I've mentioned previously. Kanye hasn't committed or been accused of committing anything on the level of what R. Kelly or Benoit have done. But nobody with financial ties to him is going to stick around and find out if he or someone he influences will. Moving forward, you might want to think twice before playing a song from Late Registration in your car with the windows open. You might want to give it a second before going out in a pair of Yeezys. And you definitely might want to ask Elon if that edit feature is coming before you send out that 2024 tweet. But that's all we're asking. Just think about it first. We're not telling you that you can't listen to Kanye songs or wear Kanye shoes or read Kanye's words. Well, the words prior to 2012 at least. Like, it's going to take a lot more than what Kanye has done so far to completely obliterate his songs from the rotation of every sneaker reseller store in the country, even if the Yeezys disappear from those stores for a while. We here at the show think that's sad personally and speaks to the obliviousness of a segment of people who worship at Kanye's feet. But again, that's my opinion. The owners of said reseller shops with stacks of Panda Dunks and Yeezy 500s and bootleg St. Pablo merch is free to think otherwise. I mean, Power is still showing up in movies after all. Shout out to Black Adam for their impeccable timing. Co-writer thinks the homie Dwayne made a quick edit so it's way shorter than the other slow motion punch fest set to popular songs. Anyways, look, chances are you will never run into somebody who will be so offended by your Yeezys that you'll be called out for it. If anything, they are more likely to call you out for wearing a terrible colorway. For the sartorially obsessed, a bad fit is way more offensive and worth calling out than anything Kanye has said so far. Key phrase there is, so far. Because by the time this episode goes live, Kanye could show up on another show with a host of questionable quality and espouse even more hateful that crosses an even further line. I mean, him showing up unannounced at Skechers HQ and being escorted out is barely a blip on this timeline, which is ironic considering they were actually knocking off his sneakers just a few years ago. Oh, and the founders and president of Skechers are Jewish, if that says anything about how strong his convictions are. He should probably disappear, lay low, take care of his mentals, and come back as an even newer, new Kanye, hopefully for the better. America loves the comeback as much as they love the fall. We'll just have to wait and see what happens while wearing Yeezys. And by we, I mean you, the Hard Pass viewer, who has no problem wearing Yeezys. I'm done. I'm tired. Co-writer's done. He's tired. Look, we're all just over it. And in the final moments of this show, we do have a message for Kanye. If you see this, or someone you know can get this to you, we are begging you to get help. No one wants to see you suffer. No one wants to see you fall from grace. There's a sentiment that we miss and want the old Kanye back. But really, what we want is for Donda's baby boy to be happy, healthy, and raise your family the way a father should be able to. All right. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you would like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your social media if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you next week. Peace.